That's where you got that's right here. Yeah.
I'll put it on my list.
I would never be that silly. Apology notes today. They're not very shiny. Good.
I should have already called him.
Okay, well.
Well, welcome to come in and have a seat. We'll begin in just a couple of minutes.
Bring some books.
Sure, if you'd like to come up and join us, you're welcome to. Thank you.
Good morning. We welcome you all here today. A couple of very brief announcements to make. One is that if you are not able to fast, there is a room downstairs, I think it's the youth lounge, that there is some fruit and some water, and you are welcome to go down there, or if you had to bring your lunch or anything like that, that will be our eating room. I believe that the library is also open if you just want a quiet place to think, to contemplate, to meditate, whatever it is that you would need. So both of those are available downstairs. The service is rather long, and there will be lengthy times of standing. Stand only as you are comfortable doing. If you need to sit down, please do so. We rise in our bodies as well as in our soul, and so please use your discretion at that time. Right now, we're going to be beginning on page 134 with Moda Ani. We thank you, living and eternal one, for morning light, for the breath within us, for strength and life renewed. Now it opens before us, this Sabbath of Sabbaths, gift of spacious contemplation, mirror for the soul. May we see our lives reflected in this still, clear pool, a day apart, unhurried time, an undivided mind. Give us joy in this day that Israel shares. Give us presence and attention, clear vision, and a listening heart. We wake to the morning, we open our eyes, we breathe your name. Page 138. When I sort through the layered texture of what clutters and claims my spirit, I find you deepest good in residence. You shine like a piece of gold inside me. In that tranquil, secluded district of soul, I discover my true, unblemished nature. Teach me that there is much more to me than just my struggle and my failure. Absorb me in the jewel of your love until I am fully one with your goodness. Page 140.
What page is that?
Someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness. It took me years to understand that this too was a gift. On page 142, we recite together the blessing for study. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, supreme power of the universe. You sanctify our lives with mitzvot and give us the sacred obligation of learning and living Torah. Continue on the next page. Our God, eternal, let us taste the sweetness of your Torah's words, and let them give pleasure to your people, the house of Israel, so that we, our children, and all generations of Israel to come, shall know your name and study your Torah for its own sake. Baruch atah Adonai, hamlamed Torah la'amod Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacharbanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. We continue now on page 153. Free will is granted to all people. If we desire to turn to the path of good and be righteous, the choice is ours. Should we desire to turn to the path of evil and be wicked, the choice is ours. There is no one who compels us, sentences us, or leads us toward either of these two paths. Rather, all persons, at their own initiative and decision, turn to the path they desire. Page 156. On page 160, we continue with the Nisim B'Chol Yom, these everyday wonders of our life that we often take for granted. We are going to begin each one in the Hebrew, the Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, and then we are going to read the second line of the English. If you wish to do the whole thing in Hebrew, you are certainly welcome to do so. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, you'll catch on very quickly. Page 160. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Your great power gave the mind to servant to distinguish light from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Your great power opens the eyes that cannot see. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Your great power brings freedom to the captive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Zokeh ketuvim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Rokav haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Your great power made me the image of God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Your great power endowed me with human freedom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Your great power has made me Yisrael. I skipped a page. We should be on 160. Oh, look at that, 161.
161.
Well, you're going to get the advantage of, we are now going to skip to the last one on 162, okay? Let's make it count. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power crowns Israel with glory. Page 164, we continue. Let's read together on the next page, 165. Praise the eternal in the dome of heaven, from the skies above, give praise to God. Praise the eternal, all you messengers, let celestial beings give praise to God. Praise the eternal sun and moon, let all bright stars give praise to God. Praise the eternal vault of heaven, let the waters above give praise to God. For the infinite called them into being, founded them, and fixed their bounds. Page 170, 170, continue with the 150th Psalm. Page 172, let's read together. From Egypt you redeemed us, Adonai our God, and from a world of slavery you saved us. In times of hunger you fed us, in times of plenty you nourished us. You turned our blight to blessing, spared us from suffering, and rescued us from the sword. Your mercy supports us, and your love abides now as in the past. Never forsake us, Adonai our God. Never turn away. Holy One, infinite your power, radiant your glory, unbounded your might, awe-inspiring your works. Hamelech Yoshev al Kisei Ram v'Nisa, Shochen ad Marom v'Kadosh Shemo, v'Chatuv Rananu Tzadikim Badonai, V'Yesharim Na'aveh Tehillah. Eternally present, your name is hallowed on high, and the psalmist saying, rejoice in Adonai, you righteous. Let the upright adorn you with praise. Page 176. Please rise as you are able. Page 178. Page 182. Together, love abundant, love unstinting, our God, you have enfolded us in love. Tender compassion beyond all bounds, your precious gift. Our fathers and mothers gave us your trust, for you gave them Torah, laws by which to live. For their sake, teach us as well. Grace us with your guidance. Loving Father, merciful Mother of us all, grant us clear understanding that we may listen, learn, and teach, preserve, practice, and fulfill with love every lesson of your Torah. May learning your Torah light up our eyes. May our hearts embrace your mitzvot. continue on page 188. Page 195, let's continue together. And they shall know that I, Adonai, am their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, that I might abide among them. I, Adonai, their God. You took us out of the darkness, so that your light might dwell among us. You showed us your power to bring down the powerful, uplift the enslaved, transform the social order. You showed us your strength so that we might remember our own. We carry the Exodus vision wherever we go, lest we forget our sense of liberation, lest we lose the joy of breathing free, lest we grow indifferent and blind to others' pain. So long as we work to make you present, we walk the path of freedom. But if we forget to bring you into this world, then we return to the darkness. Page 196. Just another reminder that we are going to be having a lot of standing coming up. Please stand as you are able. There are no merit points for standing longer than the person next to you. I also want to remind you that there are many poems, many readings in this book, and I urge you to take advantage of them. It's okay if you're not on the same page that we are for a few minutes. You'll catch up. If something catches your eye, stay with it. pay attention to it and see how it's speaking to your heart. In the depths of night, by the edge of the river, Jacob was alone. In the heartfelt longing, in the temple of God, Hannah uttered her prayer alone. In the barren wilderness, in doubt and despair, Elijah found God alone. On the holiest day, in the Holy of Holies, the high priest entered alone. We are bound to one another in myriad ways, but each soul needs time to itself. In solitude, we meet the solitary one. The silence makes space for all the still small voice. For the psalmist said, deep calls unto deep. From the depths of our soul, we seek what is most profound. Page 198, please rise as you are able.
Adonai, Sevatitita, Ufia, Vitalilateca. Eternal God, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Please be seated. I invite you to choose one of the texts on page 206 and page 207 and read it silently to help you prepare for the Unetana Toka.
It's just yourself. Pick one. Pick one. Pick one.
We continue on page 208. If it is your custom to stand during the Unetana Toka, I invite you to do so. Together, let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deepest awe and inspires highest praise for your dominion. For your throne is a throne of love, your reign is a reign of truth. In truth, you are judge and plaintiff, counselor and witness. You inscribe and seal, you record and recount. You remember all that we have forgotten, and when you open the book of memories, it speaks for itself. For every human hand leaves its mark, an imprint like no other. 2:10. And so a great shofar will cry, Tekiah. A still small voice will be heard. Angels in a whirl of fear and trembling will say, behold the day of judgment, for they too are judged. In your eyes, even they are not blameless. All who come into the world must pass before you, like sheep before their shepherd. As a shepherd considers the flock when it passes beneath the staff, you count and consider every life. You set bounds, you decide destiny, you inscribe judgments. Together. On Rosh Hashanah, this is written. On the fast of Yom Kippur, this is sealed. How many will pass away from this world? How many will be born into it? Who will live and who will die? Who will reach the ripeness of age? Who will be taken before their time? Who by fire and who by water? Who by war and who by peace? Who by famine and who by drought? Who by earthquake and who by plague? Who by strangling and who by stoning? Who will rest and who will wander? Who will be tranquil and who will be troubled? Who will be calm and who tormented? Who will live in poverty and who in prosperity? Who will be humbled and who will be exalted? But through return to the right path, through prayer and righteous giving, we can transcend the harshness of the decree. This is a perfect time to note that there are congregations and many people right now who have been affected by the latest hurricane, and even still, especially in Puerto Rico, still trying to recover from another hurricane. So when we read who by fire and who by water, that's a very real situation for many people, and I urge you to use this time to give the tzedakah that we just talked about, utshuva, utfilah, utzdaka, and to give tzedakah, righteous giving, to those who have been affected by the natural disasters. Page 218, please rise. Please be seated. Page 222 and 223. We sense God's holiness through awe. On 223 together. To be awake is to be alive. Only that day dawns to which we are awake. One cannot help but be in awe when one contemplates the mysteries of eternity, of life, of the marvelous structure of reality. It is enough if one tries merely to comprehend a little of this mystery every day. Never lose a holy curiosity. Wisdom begins with awe of the eternal. 224 and 5. How do we sense God's holiness? Through honor. Together on 225. The king was absent for many years. His beloved wife was left alone. Her neighbors taunted her. Your husband has abandoned you. Marry someone else. But she would withdraw into her bridal chamber and read her ketubah with its promises of love and support. And in this she found comfort. When at last the king returned, he said to her, I am amazed that you waited for me all these years. And she replied, were it not for the ketubah you gave me so many years ago, I would have been lost. So it is with the people Israel. We go into our synagogue and study houses, and in words of Torah we find comfort. When at last redemption comes and God says to us, how were you able to wait so long? How did you survive among the nations? We will answer, if not for the memory of your love, we would have been lost. And thus Scripture says, but this do I call to mind, therefore I have hope. Page 226. How do we sense God's holiness? Through righteousness. Together. And so in your holiness, give righteous the gift of with joy. A world where evil has no voice, and the rule of malevolence fades like wisps of smoke. Good people everywhere will celebrate the stunning sight of arrogance gone from the world. Page 228. Kadosh atah v'nora shmecha v'ein Eloha mivaladecha kakatuv v'yikba Adonai tzivaot b'mishpat va'el hakadosh nikadesh b'tzedakah. Together, you are holy, your name is awe. There is nothing divine beyond you. As the prophet Isaiah taught, the source of all might is exalted through justice, the God of holiness. Ata Adonai Hamelech HaKadosh. Page 230. You chose us with love to be messengers of mitzvot, and through us you made known your aspirations. Among all the peoples, you gave us a pathway to holiness. Among all the great nations, you uplifted us and made yourself our sovereign. And so we seek you and serve you and celebrate our nearness to your presence. Your great and sacred name has become our calling. Together, in your love, eternal our God, you have given us this Yom Kippur, a day on which our wrongs are forgiven with love, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our peoples going out from Egypt. Continue on 232. Our God and God of the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness, together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel. May we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and for peace on this day of atonement. Zochreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo l'tova, ufotenu bo livracha, v'hoshienu bo l'chaim. Eternal our God, remember us. Be mindful of us. And redeem us for a life of goodness. Page 238. The patience of ordinary things. It is a kind of love, is it not? How the cup holds the tea, how the chair stands sturdy and foursquare, how the floor receives the bottom of shoes or toes, how soles of feet know where they're supposed to be. I've been thinking about the patience of ordinary things, how clothes wait respectfully in the closet, and soap dries quietly in the dish, and towels drink the wet from the skin of the back, and the lovely repetition of stairs, and what is more generous than a window. Page 244. Eloheinu, Elohei, Avotenu ve'imotenu, Baruchenu v'baracha Hamshulashet, Hakatuv v'Torah, v'ha'amora b'fi kohenim im kodshecha ka'amor. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and protect you. May you receive the light of God's kindness and grace. May God bestow favor upon you and give you peace. Page 246. moments for your own silent prayers. We're now going to continue with Avinu Malkeinu. We will be on page 252. I invite you now to rise as the ark is open. Continue responsively, 252 and 253. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, mighty and merciful, hear our voice.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol Aleinu Ve'al Olaleinu V'Takenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kale Dever V'Cherev V'Ra'av Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, all the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kale Kol Tsar Umastin Me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, all the reign of those who cause pain and terror.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu B'Sefer Chayim Tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew us for a year of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu, Malei Yadenu B'Birkotecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings.
Avinu Malkeinu, Harem Keren Mashiach.
Avinu Malkeinu, let our eyes behold the dawn of redemption.
Avinu Malkeinu, Na Al Tashivenu Rekam Bilifnecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we pray, do not turn us away from you with nothing.
Avinu Malkeinu Kabel Barachamim Uvratzon Et Tefillatenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it.
Avinu Malkeinu Aseh Imanu L'ma'an Shemecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act towards us and fix your reign.
Avinu Malkeinu Aseh L'ma'ancha Imlo L'ma'anenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake, not for ours.
Avinu Malkeinu Ein Lanu Melech Ela Ata.
Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our sovereign.
Avinu Malkeinu Patach Sha'arei Shamayim L'Tfilatenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, the gates of heaven be open to our prayer.
Avinu Malkeinu Shma Kolenu Plus V'Rachem Aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice, treat us with tender compassion.
So, those who are going to be holding the Torah, if you would come up onto the bima at this time. Page 254. Let the reading of Torah be like a prayer, a meditation to remind us what we strive for, a chant that binds us to the chain of generations. Let the reading of Torah be like a prayer, a moment of purest solidarity with our people's hope and history, an invitation to affirm or dissent, to challenge or believe, to ask why or say amen. Let the reading of Torah be like a prayer flowing like waters that renew the spirit, refreshing and sweet to nourish the soul. Let the reading of Torah be like a prayer, every word a blessing, every verse a conversation with God. Okay. Our reading this morning is from the book of Deuteronomy and can be found on page 266. The first blessing this morning, the first aliyah this morning, I'm delighted to give to Ruth and Morris. Ya'amdu la'aliyah l'Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher
Noten Torah.
Amen.
Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem lifnei Adonai Elohechem roshechem shiftechem zichnechem v'shotrechem kol ish Yisrael tapchem nishechem v'garecha asher v'kerev machanecha v'chotev etzecha ad sho'ev mimecha la'ovracha b'vrit Adonai Elohecha uv'ala techa Uva'ala tav asher Adonai Elohecha koret imcha hayom. Outside? All right. The second aliyah this morning is for Isaac Oliver, and he will also be reading the Torah as well. All right, we are going to be right here on. Oh, yeah. Oh, blessings. Sorry, I do it.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. אמן. למען הקים אותך היום לא לעם, והוא יהיה לך לאלוהים, כאשר דיבר לך וכאשר נשבע לאבותיך, לאברהם, ליצחק וליעקב. ולא אתכם לבדכם, אנוכי קורא את הברית הזאת ואת העלה הזאת, כי את אשר יש לו פה היום, עמנו עומד היום לפני אדוני אלוהינו, ואת אשר איננו פה עמנו היום. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נתן בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. אמן.
All right. The third aliyah this morning is for Catherine Lambert. Ta'amod l'aliyah l'Torah. There's a bridge. You gotta find it. It's right here. Right there.
Baruch Adonai HaBarak.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai HaBarak Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher barakah banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
אמן. והיה כי יבואו עליך כל הדברים האלה, הברכה והקללה, אשר נתתי לפניך, והשיבות לבבך בכל הגויים אשר הגיח אדוני אלוהיך שמה. ושבת עד אדוני אלוהיך, ושמעת בקולו ככל אשר אנוכי מצווך היום, אתה ובניך, בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך. ושב אדוני אלוהיך את שבותך וריחמך, ושב וקיבצך מכל העמים אשר הפיצך אדוני אלוהיך שמה. אם יהיה נידחך בקצה השמיים, משם יקבצך אדוני אלוהיך, ומשם ייקחך.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et Torah hamet Kayei olam natavot skotenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Mr. Koach, you can read anytime you want. That's correct. That's something. There, and then I'm back to it again. All right, the fourth Aliyah is for Seth and Bar Katz. Do you know where he is? Do you know where he is? Right around here. Okay. Right there. Yeah, that's the spot.
Baruch hu et Adonai haporach.
Baruch Adonai
haporach
le'olam
va'ed. Baruch Adonai haporach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Amen.
Hevi acha Adonai Elohecha el haaretz asher yirashu avotecha v'yishta v'hi tevcha v'harbecha levavcha. I skipped. Yeah. Okay, here it is. Right there. Me avotecha umol Adonai Elohecha et levavcha ve'et levav zarecha lahava et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha lema'an chayecha v'natan Adonai Elohecha et kol ha'olot ha'ele al avicha v'al sonecha asher Rashfucha ve'ata tashuv v'sham'ata v'kol Adonai v'asita et kol mitzvotav asher anochi mitzavcha hayom. Sorry.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Amen.
And the fifth Aliyah this morning are for Steve Marks and Cecile Arquette. Yeah, we should have 7. Okay. Wait. We can pick people. Okay. Okay. Now just get people to do it. Here.
Adonai haporach. Baruch Adonai haporach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai haporach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Amen.
Tircha Adonai Elohecha b'kol ma'aseh yadecha b'fri beitnecha u'b'fri behemtecha u'b'fri adamatecha l'tova ki yashov Adonai lasus elecha l'tov ka'asher sas al avotecha ki tishma b'kol Adonai Elohecha lishmor mitzvotav v'chukotav Katvu, the Kotba, the Sefer HaTorah Hazeh, כי תשוב אל אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך. Yes, I do. Right? Yes. כי המצווה הזאת אשר אנוכי מצווך היום לא נפלאתי ממך ולא רחוקה היא, לא בשמיים היא לאמור מי יעלה לנו השם. Okay. Fine. It's hard. We're up there. It's one word of the other. Okay. לא בשמיים. Excellent. All right. The next aliyah this morning is for Andy Morgan.
Baruch Adonai HaBorach. Baruch Adonai HaBorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Bachar banu mikol ha'amim, V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Lo bashamayim hi lemor mi yahu lemor mi or lanu el ha'over hayam v'yikacheha shma'ena asena ki karov elecha hadavar me'od v'picha levavcha la'asato. Re'ei natati lefanecha hayom et ha'chayim ve'et ha'tov ve'et ha'mavet ve'et hara asher anochi mitzavcha hayom lahava et Adonai Elohecha lalechet v'darchav v'lishmor mitzvotav v'chukotav u'mishpatav v'chayita v'ravita u'varechecha Adonai Elohecha ve'eretz asher ata ba'shama l'rishta. That's it.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher natan lanu Torah emet, Chayei olam nutav b'tocheinu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
And our seventh aliyah this morning is Tanner Smith. Right there.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaBorach.
Baruch Adonai HaBorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher natan lanu Torah.
Yeah, Asher b'achar
Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Va'im yefna levavcha va'im. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going. I'm sorry. Va'im yefna levavcha v'lo tishma v'nidachta v'hash takavit le'elohim acherim va'avodatem. Higadati lachem hayom, ki oved ta'avdun, lo ta'arichun yamim al ha'adama, asher ata over et hayarden, lavo shama l'rishta. He'idoti bechem hayom, et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz, hachayim v'hamavet, natati lefanecha, v'habracha v'haklala, uvacharta v'chayim, lamatan tichye, ata v'zarecha, la'ahava, et Adonai Elohecha, Lishmoa bekolo uladav kavo ki hu chayecha ve'orech yamecha lishbot al ha'adama asher nishba Adonai la'avoticha la'Avraham liYitzchak u'liYaakov latet lahem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam Eloheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, we are going to lift and dress the Torah at this time, and Jeff and Tina. That's Elmer. It's down here, thank you. You're still sitting. You're going to be sitting for a while. Okay with that? It is now time for the Haftarah. We are going to be on page 277, I believe, or close to it. 277. You guys know what you're doing. We'll keep it going. Keep it going. I'm not worried. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza b'divreihem hane'amarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek hara v'dorom al taksod keshofar hareim.
Cry from the depths, says God. Do not hold back. Lift up your voice like the shofar. Tell my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sin.
Ve'oti yom yom yidroshun v'da'at derachai yechpatzun kegoy asher tzedakah.
Yes, they seek me daily, as though eager to learn my ways, as if they were a nation that does what is right and has not abandoned God's law. They ask of me the right way, eager for God's nearness.
Lama tsamnu v'lo ra'ita ininu nafshenu.
They say, why did we fast? And you do not see it. We afflict ourselves, you do not know it, because even on your fast day you think only of desire, while oppressing all who work for you.
Goshu, hein l'riv u'matzah titsumu tatsumu ul'chakot
Because your fasting is filled with strife, and with callous fist you strike. No, your fasting this day will not lift up your voice before heaven. Is this the fast I desire? A day to afflict body and soul, bowing your head like a reed, covering yourself with sackcloth and ashes. Do you call this a fast? A day worthy of the favor of Adonai? Is not this the fast I desire? To break the bonds of injustice and remove the heavy yoke, to let the oppressed go free and release all those enslaved. Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and to take the homeless poor into your home, and never to neglect your own flesh and blood? Then shall your might burst forth like the dawn, and your wounds shall quickly heal, your righteous ones leading the way before you, the presence of Adonai guarding you from behind. Then when you call, Adonai will answer, and when you cry will respond, I am here. If you remove the chains of oppression, the menacing hand, the malicious word. If you offer your compassion to the hungry, and satisfy their suffering, then shall your light shine through the darkness, and your night become bright as noon.
Adonai tamid v'hisbia b'tzachot.
Adonai will guide you always, slake your thirst in parched places, give strength to your bones. You shall be like a well-watered garden, an unfailing spring. From you they will rebuild ancient ruins, lay foundations for ages to come, and you shall be called the one who mends the breach and brings back the streets for dwelling. If you cease to trample Shabbat, stop pursuing your affairs on my holy day. If you call Shabbat a delight, the holy day of Adonai honored, and if you honor God by not doing business or speaking of everyday matters,
Tit'anag al Adonai, v'hir kavticha al bamotai.
Then shall you take pure delight in Adonai. I will lift up your journey on earth to the highest of places, and nourish you from the heritage of your father Jacob, for thus spoke Adonai.
Adonai Diver. I am now on page 280. The alternate blessing. See the short one there? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik v'chol hadorot, ha'el hane'eman, ha'omer ve'osei, hamdaber u'mkayem, shekol divarav emet v'tzedek, al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al Yom HaKippurim hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu limchila v'licha u'chapara l'chavod u'tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu modim lach u'mevarchim otach Yitbarach Shimcha beficha chai Talmid le'olam va'ed U'devaracha emet v'karyam le'ad Baruch atah Adonai melech mochel v'soleach le'avonotenu ve'la'avonot Amo Beit Yisrael Uma'avir Ashmotenu Bechol Shana V'Shana Melech Al Kol Haaretz Mikadesh Yisrael V'Yom HaKippurim.
Amen.
We are going to continue now with page 284, the prayer for our congregation, for our teachers and students, for our country, and for Israel. Okay. If the others want to come up now as well, you're welcome to. Let's see. Do you know who you are?
I didn't have a sheet for students.
Okay. All right. That's fine then.
I can do it.
Wait, let me ask you this. Is there a public school teacher here? Excellent. Would you mind reading the blessing then, the English? On 285.
In having great redemption and grace, kindness and
No, not now. Sorry, when we get to it, come on up, okay? All right, you go ahead now.
Okay, I'm on 284.
Yes.
Eternal presence who blessed our mothers and fathers. Bless this holy congregation, a house of study, prayer, and righteous deeds. Together, we give thanks for our leaders, for those who learn, teach, and uphold the Torah, inspiring others to learn, teach, and uphold the Torah. Those who do the sacred work of building our community. May their service bring joy, fulfillment, and purpose, and may they go from strength to strength. For our members, diverse in age, interest, and background, Jews by birth, Jews by choice, and those of other faiths who join with us. All who offer their time and talent, their love and commitment. For all who come here on this holy day of Yom Kippur to share the search for meaning and renewal. Your presence is a blessing, your friendship a gift. May the spirit of peace, dignity, and respect live within these walls, inspiring us to care for one another with compassion. And may we be a source of goodness, light, and healing for the world. May the one who blessed the generations before us bless us as we stand together this day, one congregation joined with all Jewish communities of the world through our prayers on this Day of Atonement. Let us renew ourselves for the year ahead. Let us honor the precious legacy that is ours.
Page 285.
May heaven grant redemption and grace, kindness and compassion, length of days and ample sustenance, divine support, bodily health, and spiritual enlightenment, and offspring who will live and endure and never abandon the study of Torah. To our teachers and rabbis of holy communities in the land of Israel and in the diaspora. To our religious and communal leaders, spiritual mentors and guides, to all their students and students of their students, and to all who engage in the study of Torah. May the sovereign of the universe bless them all, prolonging their lives with fulfillment of days and length of years. May they be delivered from all trouble and saved from serious illness. May our heavenly teacher be their help on every occasion and at all times. And let us say, Amen.
Prayer for our country. God of holiness, we hear your message, justice, justice you shall pursue. God of freedom, we hear your charge, proclaim liberty throughout the land. Inspire us through your teachings and commandments to love and uphold our precious democracy. Let every citizen take responsibility for the rights and freedoms we cherish. Let each of us be an advocate for justice, an activist for liberty, a defender of dignity. And let us champion the values that make our nation a haven for the persecuted, a beacon of hope among the nations. May our actions reflect compassion for all people, within our borders and abroad. May our leaders and officials embody the vision of our founders to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. We pray for courage and conscience as we aim to support our country's highest values and aspirations, the hard-won rights that define us as a people, the responsibilities that they entail. We pray for all who serve our country with selfless devotion, in peace and in war, from fields of battle to clinics and classrooms, from government to the grassroots. All those whose noble deeds and sacrifice benefit our nation and our world. We are grateful for the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that our founders ascribed to you, our Creator. We pray for their wisdom and moral strength, that we may be guardians of these rights for ourselves and for the sake of all people, now and forever.
Avinu, you who are high above all nations, states, and peoples, Rock of Israel, the one who has saved us and preserved us in life, bless the state of Israel, first flowering of our redemption. Be her loving shield, a shelter of lasting peace. Guide her leaders and advisors by your light of truth. Instruct them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who build and protect our holy land. Deliver them from danger. Crown their efforts with success. Grant peace to the land, lasting joy to all of her people. And together we say, Amen.
It is now time for us to return the Torahs to the Ark. We're on page 290 and 291. Please rise. You all may be seated.
Thanks.
We're going to be done really early. Let's go back and do some more. I'm sorry? I thought someone said something to me. No? Good. So last night we spoke about the benefits of community, especially when we are inclusive to those who see the world differently than we do. We talked about the dangers of thinking that there is only one truth, one path. So this morning, let's take it even further. This morning, let's not talk only about our different opinions. Let's talk about arguments. Let's extol the virtues of a good argument. In fact, let's resolve to have more arguments here at Anshai Emeth this year. See, we don't have enough good arguments in our congregation. Let's pledge that in the new year 5779, we make a concerted effort to argue more often with each other. Really, you must be thinking, our rabbi's a bit crazy. On Yom Kippur of all days, this is what our rabbi is asking for us? Wouldn't it be better if we worked on getting along rather than promoting arguments? Yes, and yes. And in fact, that could be our first argument this morning. You've heard the jokes, wherever there are two Jews, there are three opinions, or that a Jew stranded on a desert island builds two synagogues, one to attend and one never to attend. The jokes go on and on. Disagreements and differing opinions are central to the character of Judaism. We argue with each other, we argue with God. You may be thinking that there are more than enough arguments in our world right now, especially in the public sphere of national politics. We are too quick to disagree, dispute, condemn, and argue. But those are not the type of arguments I want to discuss with you today. Those are not constructive, helpful, meaningful ways of communicating. So what is an argument? What is a discussion? What is a disagreement? Some people shy away from the word argument, thinking it is not a constructive way to explore differences. But that's not necessarily so. To be honest, we have more important things to argue about this morning than the definition of argument. So, for today, this is the definition from Merriam-Webster that I will use. It is a statement or series of statements for or against something, a discussion in which people express different opinions about something. Even if passionate, arguments can be productive. Now, what I'm not talking about today are the types of cantankerous, mean-spirited, single-sided shout fests that are all too prevalent today. Nor am I talking about the arguments that come from inflammatory tweets. I'm not interested in the type of argument that may be happening right now in homes, even in this building. The type of arguments when people don't listen, don't hear, shout over each other, try to make their point more loudly and more forcibly than the other person. Those are not the Jewish way to argue. Just like everything, Judaism has something to say about arguments. Arguing is in fact essential to our religion. Perhaps that's something you never learned in religious school. That without this intrinsic argument, we might exist. And don't forget, it seems that even God from time to time appreciates a good argument. The Hebrew word for argument is machloket. In the middle of that word is the word chelek, part. A machlocation in which there are two parts, two sides, two aspects. Imagine a game of chess. If we argue that the white pieces are better than the black pieces or vice versa, we'll never get anywhere. It's a futile debate. Alternatively, if we only have black pieces on the board, the game is pointless. Yes, there are some religions and political leaders and even teachers who play with only one color on the board. Then there is no game, no discussion. There is only one side, one answer, one truth, one correct path. But that is not life. At least it shouldn't be. A few years ago, long before the current fractured and divisive politics of our time, Parker Palmer, the noted Quaker theologian and educator, wrote a book called Healing the Heart of Democracy, The Courage to Create a Politics Worthy of the Human Spirit. I do recommend this book. His thesis is that we must develop dialogue which bridges political divides, that we can start in our families, our schools, and our congregations. We can start here to restore a government that is a better reflection of our highest democratic values. He discusses 5 central elements, each of which is readily understandable within our Jewish tradition. Number 1, we are all in this together. Number 2, appreciate the value of the other. Number 3, hold tension in life-giving ways. 4, we have a personal voice of agency. And 5, create community. Number 1, we're all in this together. There's no such thing really as a lone ranger. The stories that we tell about the brave lone pioneers living a self-sufficient life is a myth. We can best survive as individuals when we acknowledge that we are integrated into the fabric of the world and not separate from it. Climate change, economics, politics, war, no matter how much we as individuals or as a country might wish to step aside from these situations, it is impossible. We are connected. As Jews, we have realized this for a very long time. We say, Kol Yisrael Aravim Zeh B'Zeh. We are all responsible for one another. As Jews, it is our obligation to consider ourselves part of a worldwide community, and not just of those in our neighborhood. But our ancestors also realized that the Jewish community, no matter how unified, could not live apart from the rest of the people in the land. And so there's another axiom, dina malchuta dina. The law of the land is the law. We are together, and yet we also accept civil law as the binding law, as well as our religious law. We are all in this together. Number 2, we must develop an appreciation of the value for otherness. 1 + 1 can really equal 3. Although we may all be in this world together, on a daily basis, we live our lives in our own tribe, our own silo, our own group and community. It is our own newspapers, our own cable news stations. It is too easy for us to point to our differences as separating us from each other. Instead of living in a world of us and them, we perceive our world as being, instead of living in a world of us and them, we live in a world of us versus them. As the saying goes, 2 heads are better than 1. As Americans, we have often fallen into the trap of seeing someone who is new, different, and foreign as being the other, not part of us. Rather, we are strengthened when we embrace the unique strengths that other may bring us. As Jews, we have always honored multiple opinions. Hillel and Shammai are always on opposite ends of a debate, but they realize that that their arguments with each other only enhance their own understandings and do not detract from it. We must cultivate the ability to hold tensions in life-giving ways. A game of chess cannot be played with only white pieces. Chess works because there are 2 points of view, because there is an inherent tension between the 2 sides. Without that tension, there would be no game. It is when we embrace the differences, hold the tension, that creativity can emerge. From acknowledging the limitations, the tensions, the contradictions in our life, we can then go forward to create something new. Perhaps the most familiar image of this tension in Judaism is that of Fiddler on the Roof. Since they are creating music while being in the midst of a precarious situation, the fiddler is balancing between the past way of life and an uncertain future, between modernity and tradition. Everything is changing and everything remains the same. That is the very tension of our modern world. 4, we must generate a sense of personal voice and agency. We need to remember that we are not an audience in our own lives. We are the lead actors and the head writers. We need to remember that we have a voice, and that voice needs to be heard. Hillel said, "Im ein ani li mili," if I am not for myself, who will be? Im rak ani li mali, if I am only for myself, what am I? Im lo akshav ematai, if not now, when? 5, we must strengthen our capacity to create community. We talked about what it means to be part of a sacred community on Rosh Hashanah. It is a community where you matter, where you are more than a number or a name. Real, lasting change only happens when there is a community that is willing to take a chance, willing to listen, to care. Community means dedication, involvement, investment, and respect. Without those, we are merely a group of people who have similar affinities, but not a sustainable, sacred community. As people, we have a long, long history of arguing. It starts right at the beginning with Abraham, who argued with God about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. And this afternoon, we'll read about another argument with God. Jonah argues with God, but does so silently. Now, it takes chutzpah, real gumption, to argue with God, but it also takes great humility. Parker Palmer says that these two things, humility and chutzpah, are the key ingredients to any successful argument. Both parties need chutzpah to believe that they have the right to speak up, and they also need the humility to realize that their opinion is not the only truth. That is the Jewish way to argue. At the heart of both democracy and of Judaism are values of personal dignity, worth, and respect. Both Judaism and democracy are places that can give voice to those who have a minority opinion and those who have questions. The historian Joseph Ellis writes, "Government institutions are not about providing answers, but providing a framework in which questions can be debated." This is what Judaism is. It is a framework in which we can debate our answers. The Talmud teaches us that there are two types of machloket, two types of disagreements. One that is worthwhile, necessary, and causes growth. We call that machloket l'shem shamayim, an argument for the sake of heaven, and one that is pointless, destructive, and harmful. The dangerous type of a machloket is demonstrated in the Torah by Korah, who argued with Moses only in order so that he could wrest power away from him and become the leader himself. And then there's the examples, many examples of machloket l'shem shamayim, and they are perhaps best illustrated by the debates between two Talmudic scholars and their disciples, the house of Hillel and the house of Shammai. They were often at odds with each other. They interpreted the law in very different ways, and yet their arguments were constructive and for the most part respectful. They did not argue for their own glory, but for the sake of the law. How do you know if an argument is l'shem shamayim, for the sake of heaven? Ask yourself this: is the argument for the sake of truth or for the sake of ego? Can I recognize that my truth is not the only truth? Am I receptive to the other person's perspective? Can I maintain benevolent, respectful feelings toward the other person? If so, then your argument is a holy argument, producing holy meaning and energy. And it is that energy that we need not only to survive, but to thrive as humans, as Americans, and as Jews. In this new year of 5779, my prayer for this sacred community is that we care enough about each other, about our community, to argue l'shem shamayim, to have constructive arguments. I pray that we put the welfare of the community above the welfare of our own egos. I pray that we learn to harmonize ideas and our viewpoints so that the melody of our community is rich and beautiful, a result of listening to the notes of others and then figuring out how our own voice fits in with those around us. And as we discussed last night, at times there may be notes that are abrupt and out of key. This only serves to remind us of the beauty of harmony and of the constant care we need to nurture it. In the new year of 5779, may our disagreements be l'shem shamayim, for the sake of heaven. May our sacred community continue to grow, ensuring that there is a place for everyone, and may harmony be created from our many individual, unique, and different voices. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Gemar Chatima Tova, may you be sealed in the book of goodness and life. Shana Tova. What's next? Okay. Take 1 second and then we continue on. If you'd like to give some announcements, you're welcome to.
Sure. So, yes, do we have a list of the times here? You know, when are we back with anybody?
1:15.
1:15 for
2 o'clock.
1:15 is study session.
It's discussion.
All right, hold on. 1:15 is discussion, and then 2 o'clock is the family service, and then we're at the out of the service.
Yep, at 4.
4 o'clock, and then Yisker. Okay. Does anybody know?
3.
3.
Thank you. Hold on a second. Why don't we do this with an actual list of topics? Thank you. All right. So, starting again, at 1:15 we have the study session. 2 o'clock is the family service. The Avodah service will be at 3. Afternoon service is at 4:15. Yisker begins at 5:30, and final service Ne'ilah starts around 6 o'clock. Following Ne'ilah, there will be a community break the fast, so we'll be sharing that with Agudas, and that will be around 7 o'clock. This Sunday, we will be building the sukkah, and Tanner, if you're still here, there you are, so you can go see Tanner, but this will be during religious school time, so around 9:30, come on out, and it'll take as long as it takes, but I'm sure if you get here at 10, it'll still be going on, probably done around 11 or 12. So there'll be more about the actual community Sukkot activity to follow, but for now, do know that you can come out this Sunday and help build with them.
Celebrating Sukkot October 26th.
Well, I believe that would be September 26th, so that's Wednesday. Yeah, I believe that's a Wednesday. So Wednesday, September 26th, we'll be celebrating Sukkot, more details to come. And that's it, thank you.
Excellent, thank you very much. Okay. Page 292. Let's read together. We stand in humility, conscious of our failings. Shema Kolenu Adonai, hear our call. True sacrifice to God is a penitent spirit. You treasure a crushed and repentant heart. For you are close to the brokenhearted, and you give strength to the suffering soul. You are the healer of shattered hearts. You are the one who binds up their wounds. For thus says the high and exalted one, who lives forever, whose name is holy. I dwell in a high and holy place, but also with the downcast and lowly, to bring new life to the despondent souls, to restore and revive repentant hearts. Return now, Israel, to Adonai your God, for you have fallen because of your sin. Take words with you and return to God. Ask the Eternal, forgive what is wrong, accept what is good. We stand in humility, conscious of our failings. We set before you the wrongs we have done. We trust in your compassion, for you know who we are. Shema Kolenu, Adonai, hear our call.
Shema Kolenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hosda'akeinu, Aleinu, V'kameinu v'rochamim v'letzah, et tefilateinu.
Page 296, please rise. Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, V'imotenu, Tavo lefanecha tefilatenu, V'al titalam mitchinatenu, אנחנו עזי פנים וקשי עורף לומר לפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, צדיקים אנחנו ולא חטאנו, אבל אנחנו חטאנו. Together, our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence, and when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong. Page 300, we continue responsively. 300. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha ba'ones uvratzon, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך ביודעים ובלא יודעים.
Which we are wanting to rest by choice, are we caused in the world consciously and unconsciously.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בבלי דעת, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בריצת רגליים להרע.
The ways we have wronged you through our thoughtlessness, and are we caused in the world through impulsive acts of malice.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחוזק יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בצלצול הורים ומורים.
The ways we have wronged you by abusing our power, and are we caused in the world through disrespect to parents and teachers.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך ביצר הרע, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בקשיות עורף.
The ways we have wronged you by giving into our hostile impulses and harm we have caused in the world through inflexibilities and silence.
V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'chachash ub'chatzav. V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'kalut rosh.
The ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit and harm we have caused in the world through inflexibilities.
V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'siach siftotenu. V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'tzarut ayin.
The ways we have wronged you in our routine conversations and harm we have caused in the world through envy.
V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'galui u'v'sater. V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'sinat chinam.
The ways we have wronged you openly and secretly and harm we have caused in the world by hating without cause.
V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'fikat ol. V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'machal u'b'mishteh.
The ways we have wronged you by losing self-control and harm we have caused in the world through consumption of food and drink.
V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'galui arayot. V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'imutz halev.
The ways we have wronged you through sexual immorality and harm we have caused in the world by our hardened hearts.
V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'neshek u'v'marbit. V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'masa u'v'matan.
The ways we have wronged you through greed and exploitation and harm we have caused in the world by some diseases.
V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'hirhor halev. V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'rithilut.
The ways we have wronged you through our cause and harm we have caused in the world through constant.
V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'chapat shochad. V'alchei tshukatanu lefanecha b'chilul Hashem.
The ways we have wronged you by offering or accepting bribes and harm we have caused in the world by profaning your name.
Please be seated. On page 308 and 309 are some questions of Cheshbon HaNefesh, of taking an accounting of our soul. I invite you to take a few moments for your own personal reflection. You may read all of the sections or just focus on one of them, or whatever your heart desires. 308 and 309. Page 311. If I could see God's face within my heart, together, I'd see the face of a gardener, compassionate to weed and flower alike, patiently pruning, graciously planting, loving the endless hours of tending and nurturing the earth, seeds, roots, and all that grows, and true to the essence of the gardener's work, forgiving the fallen branches, the withered petals, the cracked stones, the broken stems. If I could see God's face within my heart, I'd see the human face in 1,000 acts of mercy, the one who gives bread to the hungry and shelters the lost, who hears the voice of grief and makes room for the stranger, who brings relief to the blind, the bent, the unjustly imprisoned, and is true to the essence of holy work, resisting evil, healing brokenness, easing pain, and in the end, forgiving ourselves as God forgives us. Adonai, Adonai, God, compassionate, gracious, endlessly patient, loving and true, showing mercy to the 1,000th generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing, granting pardon. page 318. We continue together at the top of the page. Infinite source of goodness, help us to see the good in ourselves, in others, and in the world around us. Teach us to cultivate a discerning mind, to know right from wrong, and a listening heart, open to love and forgiveness. Guide us to walk in your ways with integrity, ever faithful to the promises of our orders made. And may your goodness inspire us to do what is just and right. Since we are ending services a bit early, we are going to move up our study session to 1 o'clock. Everything else will stay the same. And I'll let you know, kind of mill around here, and we'll figure out where we will be at 1 o'clock. So, thank you. We'll continue more later on. Yeah, no, I don't think everything Fred, how much is my that I don't think it makes that.